But we begin with the 2008 race. Chuck Todd is political director for NBC News. Mike Allen is with the Politico. First to you, Chuck. What is going on with Barack Obama and evangelicals? What does he think he can approve here?
Well, I think he is comfortable talking about his faith. That is something, and he feels like he almost has to. He needs to wear it on his sleeve. He wants to get rid of the rumors about his religious background and the Muslim rumors. So, but he has always been very comfortable talking about it. And so I think that he wants to prove that, wants to show it a little bit. And there is they sense an opportunity. Evangelicals are not crazy about John McCain. He has struggled sort of, the guy is a classic Western secularist. He doesn't, he may be a very religious person, but he doesn't like to talk about it. He truly keeps it to himself. And we've seen in the past that, that a lot of evangelicals, particularly in the South, would rather see a candidate that is more comfortable talking about their relationship with God in the public domain than with a candidate who's not.
And it was in Ohio and with evangelicals that Karl Rove did so well in turning out the vote for George W. Bush. Mike Allen, what chance does Barack Obama have, though, of really appealing to evangelicals with so much suspicion out there in all of the polling about who he is and filling in the biography?
Well, Andrea, I think that's a great question. I think he may not make very deep inroads into hardcore evangelicals, but by doing events like he did today, by, as Chuck pointed out, talking comfortably and frequently about himself, I think he's able to reach a larger group of Democrats who are people of faith, maybe Republicans who are, as Chuck so rightly said, still completely unsold on Senator McCain, and I think that he has a real opportunity there. We saw today at that clothing and food pantry where he talked about how he was going to get rid of President Bush's faith-based office, but give it a name and give it new money, and he said make it more than a photo op. So this is his way of saying to people, these people, I connect with you, I share with you. Andrew, over the next 54 days, between now and the beginning of the Democratic Convention, there could be a big contest between the two campaigns to convince people of who Barack Obama is. And Senator Obama today was saying, my faith is a very important part of that.
And let's listen to him. This is Senator Obama today in Ohio, where he said that he was going to spend $500 million on that new faith-based initiative.
Now, I didn't grow up in a particularly religious household, but my experience in Chicago showed me how faith and values could be an anchor in my life and an anchor in the community. In time, I came to see my faith as being both a personal commitment to Christ and a commitment to my community. That while I could sit in church and pray all I want, I wouldn't be fulfilling God's will unless I went out and did the Lord's work.
Now, he's trying to fill in the biography. We saw, for instance, with, this group in York, Pennsylvania, where Peter Hart had the focus group. People don't know who either of these candidates are, really, but there is a lot of misperceptions about Barack Obama, who he is. The latest NBC News poll found that John McCain leads Barack Obama among evangelicals by 48 points. The good news, though, Chuck, for him is that Barack Obama has a bigger number, at least among this group of voters, than Democrats did, than John Kerry did.
Well, look, I'm still skeptical that he's going to be able to somehow make these incredible inroads. I think the best chance he has is somehow convincing these voters to maybe stay at home, sit on their hands, not get excited, or maybe they go and vote, but they don't do a lot of work for McCain. But I think one of the things that's interesting about what he did today is he pledged basically to keep the Office of Faith-Based Initiative, which a lot of secular liberals are not going to be happy with. And Obama's going to get a lot of criticism from some wings of the Democratic Party for doing this, but this was a very popular idea among African-American religious groups. And this is something that President Bush, when he announced this, he had some opportunities to really reach out to some minority religious leaders, and they were listening to him. They like this, and I think this is Obama's way of sort of giving a hat tip to a community that has been very supportive of him, particularly African-American churches.
Mike Allen, do you think that this can work for Barack Obama? Can he do two things at once, try to make inroads with the evangelical community and also try to inoculate himself further from the charges about Reverend Wright?
Well, Andrea, one Republican explained to me that this is like Republicans talking about health care. They're never going to make inroads with hardcore health care voters, but they can be more competitive, and they can reassure people that this is a part of their palate. So I think that's what Senator Obama was doing here, and despite that high number for Senator McCain, I think you'll agree he has a lot of work to do there. I think he helped himself this weekend when he went and visited Billy Graham and his son Franklin Graham, but there's a lot more like that to be done. He just doesn't talk the language of evangelicals. Andrea, the fact that when Senator McCain went to church last Sunday, it was news. That shows you he's got a lot of work to do in this department.
Well, you know, the funny thing is that people like Ronald Reagan didn't go to church very often either. Were criticized for it, but he still had the support of.
But Mike just brought up a great point. It's speaking the language, and I don't mean to talk about it as if it's code, but boy, President Bush and President Reagan was very good at this. President Clinton was very good at this, speaking to people of faith in words that people of faith understand. John McCain just doesn't communicate yet very well with evangelicals. Barack Obama does right now. So that's why you see a lot of leaders in the evangelical community going, hey, I like what I hear, but I think Mike's right. The rank and file, they're still going to be hardcore